Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe. I don't. Yeah. 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 It's really cool. Yeah. Okay. So this building is called we call it the self build because you can build it yourself. It's a very basic style of building, so you don't need lots of machineries and like professional kind of people, like contractors and things like that. So we have it here as an example because it's very low waste. So it was designed by somebody called Walter Siegel, who's a German architect, and he didn't like the amount of waste that there was in the construction industry. So in the UK, it's something like 24% of waste is from the construction industry, and there's a very high energy cost to that. So cement, making cement is a really really energy intensive process. I think it's for every ton of cement that you make, you release a ton of CO2, and that has a really massive effect on climate change and on pollution and everything. So this Walter Siegel, he wanted to make a building with a very low embodied energy. So this building, it doesn't have a lot of energy use associated with its construction. So he did that by he designed it so that all the pieces were the same size as the pieces you buy from the shop. So this piece here, that's just like the standard piece from the hardware store. So you wouldn't have to cut it and you wouldn't have to do anything. So this, yeah, you cut down on waste and the energy use associated with the waste. And he also didn't use any wet trade, so he didn't do plastering, he didn't do bricklaying and things like that, and that means that the building's really light. So one thing that costs a lot, that has a high energy cost and just general cost, is making the foundations for the building. So if the building is really really heavy, you have to have really heavy deep foundations in the ground to hold it in place. But because this is really a really light building, this basically doesn't have foundations, and you can see that it's kind of on legs. It has its own legs, so it also means that you can build on uneven ground, not flat ground. So this land, we've just talked about, it was like this, and it's just that this is just a pile of rocks. This is really difficult to dig into this. It's just like sort of rocks. So this meant that they didn't have to hire a lot of machinery and have a lot of energy going to use that, and yeah, it's just quite a cool system. It also we have a conservatory on the front, so that's another passive solar technique, like we were talking about with the wall and the large windows facing south. So this is also facing south, and the idea is that during the day, the air in the conservatory heats up, and then at night you open the door to your house and the hot warm air comes into your house, and it's just another way to just get kind of free heat. So it's one thing that you can do. Yeah, it's another style. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in winter time it is very cold as well, right? So
Yeah, but it also provides like a buffer, provides like a barrier. So it's like that air is going to be slightly warmer than the air outside. So it makes it more difficult for the heat inside your house to get out. Yeah, between when you open that door, you never have both doors open at the same time. You just have that door and then close it and then open that door. But we have students staying here sometimes. So over here we have so this is an air source heat pump. Have you come across heat pumps before?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you work with
Heating pump.
heat pump? Yeah. Yeah.
I heard about it. Sometimes I read about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Have you studied it on your course or the course you're
No,
doing?
no,
No, no.
no.
Yeah.
we will.
You will. Yeah.
We will
Okay.
do.
So this is it has two parts of it. So this is the unit outside, and then that kind of the thing that looks like a refrigerator. It's not a refrigerator. That's the inside part of it. We've got a diagram on here. So it kind of works. So it takes there's a gas inside. In this case, it's CO2. It's a kind of a different type. Usually, it's some other types of gas, but this is a special type of CO2. And the CO2 is allowed to. It absorbs the heat from the air, and then it's compressed until the temperature is useful to us. We take it out and store the heat on a hot water tank, and that can be used for domestic heating in the house. So and then the gas is then allowed to expand, and it carries on its cycle. So there's quite a good diagram of that here, like that. But you can get air source heat pumps, ground source heat pumps, and water source. I'm sorry, I keep dropping it. I'll just put it in my pocket. You can get air, water, and ground source heat pumps. So the air source heat pumps, they have a more variable kind of usefulness because obviously the air temperature changes a lot. You know, here sometimes we have -16 or something. I don't know. Do you have it? What's the lowest temperature you have?
Thirty.
In Poland,
Minus 30
minus
30.
30 happens sometimes.
Okay. Well, we think the -16 is just like so extreme and really like yeah.
It's
So
a quite
Disaster,
standard
right?
in Poland.
is it really? All right.
And the winter time, of course.
Yeah.
It
When when
happens,
yeah,
sometimes happens.
-30. Well, when people from the UK come from England, they're really shocked by the -16. They just can't believe it. So it's just yeah. So you know the temperature changes so
Wales
much.
is warmer than.
Well, we just have so much rain because we have the mountains.
Yeah,
We have a
because of the
mountain
mountains,
range.
Maybe
Yeah,
the
yeah,
average temperature is
yeah,
lower.
yeah. It's just very, very wet. But yeah, the north of England is also very cold. But yeah. But so the ground source heat pumps, which we don't have because it's too difficult to drill into the ground because of all the stone, they're usually a better performer throughout the year because under the ground you have a more standard temperature throughout the year, like at some so that's less variable. And we do have a water source heat pump as well down at the bottom station where you normally come into when you take the railway, the train. But yeah, again, that's quite a variable temperature. Yeah, but we have done I mean, these are supposed to be used with low temperature heating. So, for example, if you use gas or wood or oil or something that you can just burn on demand and burn a lot of it, you could use the radiator systems. So that's what normal houses in the UK have, is radiator systems. So we use the gas or the oil or the wood to heat the water, which is then passed around the house in the radiator system. But for that to work, you need kind of quite high temperatures, so like 50, 60 degrees. But then with these systems, so the air source heat pumps, this is more efficient if you provide low temperature, so like 30 degrees, 20 or 30 degrees. And so if you're going to only provide the house with 20 or 30 degrees, you need very, very large surfaces to let the heat be released from. So that's why these should really only be used with underfloor heating. Is that common in Poland to have underfloor heating? Or?
No.
No, it's not common.
Underfloor,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
This, but
Yeah.
of different way than this one.
Yeah,
But it is
Okay.
Using
for heating like
yeah. With the
gas
gas or
Yeah.
oil, yeah.
Yeah.
and the tubes go
Oh, okay.
with water go under.
Yeah, yeah.
You are
Okay.
talking about this?
Yeah, under the floor. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But then the temperature. Yeah, it doesn't need to.
In
Yeah,
new houses it is popular.
yeah.
But only in not all rooms you can put. Like bedroom is not.
It's
Yeah.
not healthy, yeah, so I think that
Yeah.
most
Nobody puts
Yeah.
in bedroom.
living
or
rooms, kitchen,
or
yeah.
living room,
Oh, okay.
corridors.
I think some people are worried that if you
bathrooms.
fall on it or something. I mean, apparently you can burn yourself if you like for elderly people. Apparently, if you fall and you're not very sensitive, you stay there.
It's not
No,
so
it's not
hard
that hard.
to be
But apparently,
boiled,
it
no.
can, but over kind of 10 hours or something.
20,
I don't know.
something
Yeah.
degrees.
Yeah. No, but apparently it is possible for people who are quite like elderly people. Or
Yeah?
something. Yeah.
From this.
Well, for the underfloor
What is
heating in general.
the
yeah.
highest temperature of air you can get from this?
Well, usually the maximum is supposed to be 30 degrees. You're supposed
30
to, yeah,
degrees.
you're supposed to do. That's yeah,
But it's
And
enough to heat
yeah,
the house.
yeah. If you're using the right type of
30.
heating system, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Should we move on?